evening.
Hello. I'm just going to go right into my question.
Yes.
You didn't say, what's your question? You're saying, what's your
Because
question?
you already know to ask a question, don't I? Yes?
That's true. I do know how this works.
Yes.
So recently been talking to several people about challenging childhoods.
Yes.
And
Good way to phrase it, yes.
Yes. And because there's a lot of people who want to kind of regress into and like feel that pain or that, whatever that challenge was, and we were just looking to see some extra input on that.
Yeah, so we would like to remind you that there's no such thing as time, you see, and so you are saying childhood, but everything you are experiencing ever is happening all at the same time. All your dimensional realities are happening right now. And so when you were a little child and your parents did the best they could, yes, you were in spirit form, you chose those parents so that you could learn certain lessons. That's what you all do here and what you all signed up for. You forget that you all signed up for it, and yet you're up here in the spirit world, you're saying, that would be really good if I could learn that, and then you come flunk back into reality and you say, this is really hard, this is traumatic, this is a challenge, and yet you don't see that as a little child now, do you? Yes, your childhood is more open to everything. It is not until you get to the perspective of an adult that you go back and you deem it as right or wrong, good or bad, yes? And so when you deem it as bad, you start to feel really bad, and when you deem it as good, you feel really good, and you all have this linear perspective when it's not true. That's all you can see from this human level. And so what is really happening is it's all happening right now. And so perhaps your body, as in Michelle's case, is feeling certain things, and so something pops up because she keeps asking, because we tell her to ask, what are you resisting? What are you resisting? What are you resisting? Which is another way of saying, what are you fearing right now that's creating this to come right here so that you can look at it and clear it away and meet us where we are, where there's happiness and bliss and joy for you all the time. But instead you keep looking at it and you are bringing it into your reality over and over and over again. That is the original meaning of trauma, yes? Because you're bringing that weight of it. Because even the word trauma carries this deep, dense, dark heaviness to it, you see. So we are not saying to deny it. Because some of you say, I'm happy, 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 I never had any trauma, and then you look at that person and they do not look happy at all, now do they?
No.
You can tell they're saying, oh, I'm happy, I'm so happy. No, you're not. Somebody who is light and happy and free of trauma is here, yes. And you can be traumatized by anything, yes. Some person might be traumatized because they stubbed their toe. Another person may have gone through some horrible war atrocities, yes, some terrible violence, and yet the same people see things different ways. But it is, you look at it, and you see what we tell Michelle, and what we tell all of you is that this whole world of yours is by your design. You came here to create thoughts into form. How magical is that? You see, you thought something. You said, I'm going to create this life, and I'm going to go through this childhood, and this adolescence, and this adulthood. And you pictured it all out. You mapped it all out, yes? And so now you want to go back and edit it, and you designed it, and so you can edit it, but you have to look at it first. You see, Michelle wouldn't take our books and just edit it and not look at it. She'd have to look at it, say, that is that part, and now perhaps Bauerten was saying this, and we say, no, we're not, we're saying this. And so we have a little disagreement sometimes, and we always are on the right, which we think is really funny. But you see, you can go back and say, look at that experience. Okay, we want you to call it an experience, because what does that convey? It conveys that you are going to learn something from it. And you all know that this is a giant earth school. You know that, yes? And yet when you're in it, it feels so hard. We want you to get into the energy that you are light. We want you to remember that when you drop this bodily form, that you are pure light. You are like the sun. It's so bright that you couldn't handle it in this form. You understand? And so you're like a sunbeam. And so when you are heaviness, it goes against your very organic essence. You see, you are made of light and love. And so when you go into that heaviness, it doesn't feel good now, does it? And so you look at it, you say, that occurred. That was an experience. You look at it and you say, and you love that your little child, because since there's no such thing as time, see, there's little Michelle right here now, there's elderly Michelle right here, and then there's middle-aged Michelle right here. You're all in this continuum, yes? But it's all happening right now. All of it. So you can embrace your little child because it's happening right now. And you can talk to your elder self and say, what would be good for me to know right now? Talk to your own higher self, your soul, because that's who governs you, yes? You know, if you would more often than not, when you are in the pain body and you are saying, this happened to me, I'm never going to get over it, it's such a struggle, I'm ruined forever. We want you to look at the position of the soul, because your soul is never tarnished, ever. Sometimes Michelle sees writings and people say their soul hurts. Your soul cannot hurt, it doesn't have a body. Do you understand? When you die, you don't have any pain. There's no pinching. See, Michelle's going to hurt tomorrow. Pinch her. And yet, where we are at, there's nothing to pinch. You forget that. Your soul cannot feel pain. And so when you are starting to feel emotional, physical pain, remember you are this soul, which is a speck of spiritual divinity. Remember how divine you are. You're all starting to remember it, yes? You're getting little glimpses. And we are here because we want you to make that more consistent in your life. We want you to drag that out. You see, you drag out your trauma really well, right? You bring it up over and over again to justify why you're not living the best possible life you can. And we want you to stop making justifications. Because unless you focus for a long time on that trauma pain body and bring it into your current experience, it's not there. Do you understand? You're bringing it there. And so you look at it, you say, oh, that's my story. It's my story. I created it. What was I supposed to learn from that? Your biggest lesson, and Michelle knows this, is compassion. What is compassion? It's seeing each other. It's really seeing the soul in each other, seeing how you're more alike than different, yes? Too often you go through life and you look at, I'm different from her, I'm different from him. You notice all the differences and that's what you deem judgment, yes? And yet we want you to look at each other and look into each other's eyes. You might freak some people out, but we want you to look closer because you know how you always say the eyes are the windows to the soul, and it's true. We want you to look at each other and really look at each other. Look beyond and look and see if you can see the aura, the light body beyond you, because that is your soul extending out, and that is how it reaches up towards spirit. That is who you are. The pain body is not who you are. You keep saying, that's who I am. I am this person. I am this survivor. I am this victim. I am this worker. I am this wife. I am this husband. I am this... Stop! Don't define yourself that way. You are so much more than that. Move beyond the definitions. Move beyond the labels of who you think you are. Because once you do that, you give everyone permission to do the same. Next time you introduce yourself, try this. Instead of saying, I'm Joda, I design airplanes, why don't you say, hi, it's so wonderful to meet you. And just pause. The more you do that, and then again, some people will be weird for them. And that's okay. The more people do that, instead of defining who they are by how they work, or what they do, you are a human being, not a human doing. Stop defining yourself on what you do. You do a lot of things in a day, yes? What if you start saying, I'm a wanderer? I'm a earth beauty enjoyer. Yes, is that the word? Creative the word for Michelle. You can write that down. Our point is this. This is not who you are. This one moment in time. And you know this. The more present you are, the more magical life becomes. Yes? And too often you're in your head and you're thinking about your future and you're making goals. Even goals has become a heavy word. Right? It's like you have to pull yourself on the chin up bar like it's a goal. There's none of that on the other side. We want to tell you, even if you don't, so often you want to get things done. I need to do this in this life because I have to make it. Guess what? You check out, you didn't get it done you can do it again, or you can leave it unfinished. The goal of your life is not to get it done. The goal of your life is to just live in the present happy and free. You are freedom. Your life is full of freedom. You are not possessed. And we say that lightly because you think of evil spirits and there's no such thing. You are possessed by those old memories. That's the evil in this world, because you're thinking of bad. And when your mind is on bad, you cannot think, oh, it's so good to be me. It's so good to be alive right here and right now. You forget every day you wake up. You forget to be grateful for the fact that you woke up. You chose this experience. And you see where we are, we don't have it each day. We don't go to sleep, there's no body. You get a do-over every single day. How magical is that? So when you start to wake up and you tell that old story and you bring yourself into that dimensional reality, you're doing yourself a disservice. You look at it and say, yes, that happened. And boy, have I moved on since then. Boy, am I so much of a colorful blanket because of that experience, yes? And then you change your focus, yes? You look around until you look for something that's beautiful. Or pretend you have a camera in front of your face, yes? If you had a camera, you wouldn't just take a picture of anything at all, right? You wouldn't take a picture of the rug. You would go out and you say, what is something beautiful? So the same thing is true of your life. You see your lens. You look around and you say, oh, it's a beautiful tree. I'm going to take a picture of it. We want you to, when you leave tonight, we want you to go out and look and go, that is a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. Because your mind cannot go, that is a beautiful thing and that's a horrible thing at the same time. You train your brain to have focus. It's a magical thing you were given by focusing. But instead what happens is you get into a conversation. Let's say you are around a negative person. We would suggest you stop doing that. We want you to surround yourselves with people who are supportive and inspirational. And so this person, maybe they're not so negative to start with. Maybe they're just hanging out, having some coffee with you, and all of a sudden they start talking about, oh, I really hate this when this happens. And so instead of changing the subject and focusing on something else, you go, I really hate when this happens. And pretty soon you've joined the gang. And you talk about all the things that you don't like in your lifetime. And then you leave feeling lower and lower and lower. What if instead you say, oh, this coffee is so good. This is so good. God, what a beautiful place you chose. Oh, you know what? Find something that you appreciate about that other person. Perhaps, for instance, we really like Jonah's new shirt. It looks good on him, don't you think? And so you comment on that. And it's not a fake compliment because you really feel it. You notice the good about another. Because when you notice, we will end with this because we're talking. When you notice the good in another, that same good lies in you because you're all connected. You know that, right? And so when you compliment another, you're also complimenting your inner self. And boy, that feels good, yes. So that is more than your question, Jonah.